The season is upon us. 2023 opening day, depending on when you're watching this, is either right around the corner or it's already happened. That's how close it is. We're recording this and it could already be there. For those of you in the future, I'm jealous of you. I want to be there right now. We have 6 burning questions as we head into this season that me and the boys from Blue Jays today are going to tackle today. Things like, will Ohtani be traded? Can anyone stop the Astros? Who's going to come out of the NL West? And more. But before we get into those questions, let's just make sure the boys are doing well. Nick and Adam, how are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Tuesday night, obviously these two boys, we took Thursday and Friday off to watch some baseball. So we absolutely are excited. And we can't wait, man. We can't wait. I'm jealous. Again, I'm jealous of y'all who are rewatching and are already in the future. We're in the past. I want to be where you're at.
Absolutely, man. Less than 48 hours to go until actual meaningful baseball happening in the MLB. It has been a long, grueling off season, but we made it, everybody. We
Seriously.
made it. Give yourselves a pat on the back. I know everybody has had a harsh winter. It is now summer.
It was one of those things where
not yet in Toronto.
It is.
You got
when baseball starts. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling warm inside.
Warm.
It felt hot during the hot stove season. It kept going there, and then we got into 2023, and it feels like it just stopped. In January, February, and March until the last week of the WBC, we're just kind of like, come on now. Can we get going?
Yes,
it's finally time to get going. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe, everybody. If you have not yet, if you enjoyed today's video, hit that like. It's a great way to support both of these streams. If you want to help the channels grow, you can have input in that. Just hit that like. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Get a sub train going. So let's get into this thing. We have, again, like I said, 6 questions as we enter the season that are burning, that need to be addressed. Those of you that are watching the replay, those of you that are watching live, feel free to answer the questions along. We will be keeping an eye on the chat room as well. So let's start with the very first question, and let's start out west, because one of the biggest rivalries that we're going to see this year will be between the San Diego Padres and the LA Dodgers, as the Padres are sick of playing second fiddle to LA, and this may be the year where they can finally get over on the LA Dodgers, because they seem a little weak. They lose They lose Mr. Captain America, Mr. Grand Slam, Trey Turner, and didn't really replace him. And then as far as the pitching goes, Walker Buehler goes down. Didn't really replace him. I don't know if you consider Noah Syndergaard a replacement. So I'll let you guys go first, and then we'll come back around to me, because this question does reside from my side of things. Can the Padres get over on the Dodgers this season?
I do think it's very, very close. It's the closest it's been in the last 5, 6, 7 years. I mean, a decade even. It's definitely the closest. When you look at both their lineups, the LA Dodgers lost a lot of guys, like you said there, Trey Turner and the other Turner, and Cody Bellinger dropping back a little bit. Whereas the Padres, they really added top-heavy players, and arguably you could say that Padres lineup is way better than that Dodgers lineup. And then you look at the rotations. Feels like the Dodgers took a step back a little bit too, whereas the Padres still kind of remain that heavy dog in that rotation, and a good bullpen too. So I feel like it's competitive. The momentum is going up for Padres, where the momentum for the Dodgers, it's slowing down. So I get it why a lot of people think that, well, if one's going up, one's going down, you got to have the one going up going to be the favorite. But I still think it's going to be a clash. I still think it's going to be a heavyweight clash. Just because the momentum's shifting doesn't mean it's exactly that's going to be the result.
Listen, guys. I think a lot of people have forgotten about a Mr. Fernando Tatis Jr. This is a guy that does not get talked about. This is almost like an off-season acquisition, because he just was not available last year at all, and the Padres were still good at baseball. I do think that the Padres are going to dethrone the Dodgers this season. We had a fantasy draft for baseball yesterday. I left that draft with 3 San Diego Padres. I am all in on these guys, man. And just with what they've been capable, you bring in Xander Bogaerts and you get Tatis back. Is there more of a offensive shift,
Right.
like from anyone this offseason, that is a lot of talent being added to your lineup, which was already a playoff lineup.
Yep.
These guys are good. Dodgers are still very good, but I'm not convinced that they're at the Padres level anymore.
I'm going to say that, yes, the Padres can get over on the Dodgers this year. I still have the Dodgers narrowly edging the Padres out for the division, but I think the Padres will go farther in the postseason than the Dodgers will. So that is my take on the situation. Let's get to the next question, and that is, which MLB team has the largest win increase year over year? Nick and Adam, let's get back to you for that one.
So actually, before you chime in, Adam, it's funny how you took that question in a positive light there, Jim. To give you guys some back end stuff, we have a conversation on Twitter, and we kind of go back and forth and whatever. We talk about what we're going to do in the thing. And what I specifically said was which team has the biggest difference in record. Now, we can interpret that to be more wins.
Okay.
But I just want to throw it out there for everybody. If you have a strong argument to make for a team losing way more games than they won or than they lost last year, then I'm open to hear it. I just want to put that out there. And honestly, chat as well. You guys let us know who's going to have the biggest difference.
Let's do it.
Record.
You know what? I am going to lean towards the positive. I hear you. I just don't see, I feel like this whole new, postseason with 14 teams, 14 teams, it's made a lot of teams competitive. You saw a lot of teams buying in, and not a lot of the teams that were previously in last year really dropped out. Not a ton. So for me, I think the most obvious one, I'm going to steal it. I bet maybe Jim's thinking about it too.
Right.
The Rangers. The Rangers are going to have probably one of the biggest swings for me. I mean, 68 wins last year.
Yeah.
And they're talking about going slightly over 500. Their over-under was around that, just over that 80 mark. For me, it's got to be the Rangers. I can see them swinging 20 up and without a problem, because that rotation is nasty. Pitching wins you games. The lineup's good enough. But what about that bullpen? Not good enough to probably get to 90 wins, but good enough to get them over 500.
I think I'm with you, Adam. I'm with you on that. I got the Rangers as the largest win increase. When I'm looking at a decrease, I don't really know, because I feel like the teams that were there last year are going to be there again this year. I don't see a major drop-off from any of our 100-win teams or 90-win teams. I think the difference is about 20, and it's on the win side of things, and it's with the Rangers, and it's thanks to a revamped pitching staff around Jacob deGrom. That's going to be crucial. Jacob deGrom has to stay healthy. He has to be out there. He can't get hurt. If he gets hurt, then scratch that. It's not going to happen. But if he can give you 25 starts this year, which I think he can, when you add the 3 previous seasons combined, he hasn't made 25 starts, I do believe. So he should be ready from an arm preparedness, from a lack of fatigue level. He should be ready to go. Give me 25 starts for deGrom. And if that happens, I think the Rangers, their difference can be 20 on the plus side. Yeah. Nick, what do you got?
I'm going to go, don't get me wrong. I absolutely agree with you guys. And I do think obviously the Rangers have to be better. Could you imagine, just to throw this out there, could you imagine if they're worse?
I can't imagine. I actually can't imagine.
I literally can't imagine that happening, man. That would be ridiculous if that happened. You got to fire everybody. If that happens.
Something's wrong.
Something is deeply wrong in Texas. I'm gonna actually go kind of out of left field here, and say that the Miami Marlins are gonna have a bit of a Baltimore Orioles year of last year. I think that a lot of people are forgetting them. I think that they have some good young talent. Obviously, their pitching staff is really nice. They made a pretty smart trade for an offensive piece out here that will help them. If some of those young guys take that next step up, could I see this team competing in the 500 mark? That would be about a 15 win jump for them because they won 69 games last year. That would be a pretty big jump. I think it's possible. I think that something could go right here. Some lightning could get struck, and the Marlins could be in that kind of Baltimore Orioles range of last year.
And you know what? I know a lot of people look at that division and go, "Oh, there's no way. They're just, they're going to get destroyed by the Mets, the Phillies, the Braves." Well, they're going to face them less this year. They're going to face them less, and maybe those moves to the offense kind of help something. Maybe there's a breakout guy or two in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Maybe it happens. Okay, I'm with you.
It could. Let's move on to the next question. Will Shohei Ohtani be traded? You guys comment in the chat, comment in the comment section if you're watching the replay on this one. Will Shohei Ohtani be traded? I'll answer first this time. I say yes. I say that he will be traded. I believe that the Angels will not get over on the Mariners or the Astros, which will put them in a spot for the final wild card spot. And I don't think they're going to get it because then they're in the hunt with 5 other teams for that final wild. They'll be in the hunt with the Rangers. They'll be in a hunt with possibly the Rays because I think the Blue Jays will comfortably get one of the other wild cards if they don't win the division. So give me the Angels. They'll know by the trade deadline that they're just not going to be a playoff team. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani's agent has already said that he has earned the right to test the free agent market to see what he can get. And if there's no way that the Angels can present an offer to Shohei Ohtani that in his mind is more that he would get on the open market because Steve Cohen isn't involved in the conversation. You will never get that max top dollar until everybody knows, well, how high is Steve willing to go? So that won't happen until he's a free agent. So the Angels have to move on. They have to get whatever they can get. Don't run to baseball trade values and try to find a trade that makes sense because it's not going to happen.
No.
I think he will be traded. I think the New York teams are prime suspects because that's going to be the only way to get him possibly to New York is to trade him. And otherwise, he's going to probably stay where his heart is, and that is on the West Coast because that's closest to getting on a plane and getting back over to home. But if you get him in New York and you get him there for a playoff run and he can experience the Bronx or Queens and he can experience that postseason atmosphere, he can get to know the players in the clubhouse, and maybe it changes his mind and he will lock in a deal to stay in New York. So I say yes, Ohtani will be traded. Boys, what do you think?
Yeah, well, just to even compliment what you just said there, Jim. I mean, people might be asking, well, are the Angels even going to do it? Well, just imagine if you're Angels front office and you just know, you put an offer on the table to Shohei. He's turned it down, obviously, because, again, he wants to test free agency. Okay, well, then I got all these major ball clubs, Yankees. I got the Padres. I got the Dodgers. I got the Cardinals. They're all knocking on my door saying, do you want our top 5, prospects? Do you want this major leaguer that could play tomorrow and this major league pitcher that could play tomorrow and like all this and maybe some cash? I don't know. Like they will give you anything because why? Because of exactly what you just said, Jim. They want to get him so they can talk to him and then get him to re-sign. If you get him, they can have a better chance of re-signing him. They want to be first before he even hits the market. So yeah. If I'm the Angels, it's a no-brainer.
Let me throw a crazy caveat. Nick, I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to throw one crazy caveat, and then, Nick, I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
If you are the Angels, it would be smart to make a trade with the Mets. Maybe you can get Ronnie Mauricio. You can get another mid-level prospect, get another maybe lower-level prospect, and then somewhere off the radar, right? Get 4 prospects, one really good one that's ready now. Looks like he's got sky-high potential. Another good one that's maybe a year away, and then 2 others that you can work on. And then Shohei's going to most likely test free agency. Try to re-sign him and bring him back, and your team is even better because of the trade you just made for him. It's what Boston should have done last year with Xander Bogaerts. Nick, go.
Yeah. Guys, before I even start, please hit the like button on both of these channels. If you're watching on BALLCAP Sports, if you're watching on Blue Jays Today, smash that like button. It would mean the most, everybody. Baseball season is upon us. Use that like button to show your excitement. My question, to throw it back to kind of table tennis this thing, serve this thing back to you guys. What is, and I know that you guys are going to pull this out of your ass, and that is totally fine. Feel free, man. Dig deep and find the answer here. What is, never do that again, Jim. Never do that again. What is the percentage in your mind? What is the percentage that Shohei Ohtani is an Angel next year? Because that's a conversation that no one is having, right? That's a conversation that I feel is like everyone's just kind of agreed that that is not happening. What is the percentage? 10, 15, 20? Like, is it possible?
I'd go 20. I would say I'd say a 20% chance.
Yeah. 20 feels right. I dug it out. Maybe from Jim's bum.
Dug it out. We got the what the hell? It's not a placebo. It's what the hell's the damn thing called? I don't know. It's whatever when you shoot the thing. Anyway, let's not get into that. I am going to say 20%.
Okay, so possible, but at the end of the day, probably unlikely. I mean, I think if we're all saying 20%, I'm seeing the chat going off right now. We're getting 25%, 50-50. Somebody even says 5%. It's what the Angels believe, I think, that really determines what happens here. If they believe that Mirapol Meningus, shout out to you, if they believe that it's 50-50, that he comes back to the Angels, that it's actually 50-50, no trade. No siree, no trade. If they believe it's what Matt Needham says, which is 1% trade, right? These are the internal conversations that I don't think that we have we don't have an eyeball in. If Shohei Ohtani is indicating that he would sign something with the Angels, no trade. And this is what we're not going to know. We're not going to know if he wants to be there, if he doesn't want to be there. That's where I'm at.
All right. Good call. Let's move on to, this is going to be question number 4. Let's talk National League Rookie of the Year, because I guess the odds were maybe a little upset over the last day. Not upset, angry, but tossed up in the air and had to be reset when Jordan Walker made the Cardinals opening day roster. So it had been Corbin Carroll as the odds-on favorite. That has changed. His odds are, last I checked, depending on where you're going, Corbin Carroll is still the favorite, but it is a lot tighter between him and Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker or Corbin Carroll for the National League Rookie of the Year?
Here's my 2 cents. I'll say my 2 cents and then I'll give my opinion. My 2 cents is we have no clue. Obviously, that's why we're gambling on it. No one really knows. But if I were to bet and choose a favorite, I want the guy who's actually played in the major leagues already. And Corbin Carroll has played a little bit in the major leagues last year. He had 104 at-bats. I know it's a small sample size, but hitting 260 with an 830 OPS. I mean, that's a stat right there enough to win the Rookie of the Year already. You're coming in with your quote-unquote second year, maybe a year and a half you're going to get a full year and a half of experience at the end of this year. So you have a little bit more advantage. I always think about, and not a direct comparison because he was in the playoffs, but a Rosarina when he won. He had so much experience already. So he just won. He was just a major leaguer already. Right. But not as a direct comparison because he had a little bit more time. But I'm going to still go with Corbin Carroll. Even though I like Jordan Walker, he's young, he's 20, he's exciting. Corbin Carroll in the league longer, a little bit older. I think I'm going to still bet my money on him.
Do you know, Jim? Because obviously he was incredible in the minors, but I actually can't find on Baseball Reference how often he played a certain position. He's primarily third base, and let's face it, he's never going to start at third base considering who is standing in between him and that starting role. So I just wonder, what his pathway to actual play time is. I know that they also have him listed as a right fielder and center fielder, and I guess we don't know this yet, but I wonder how many games. Oh, Adam's got it right here.
Yeah.
What is this?
So he's played 70 games at third base, 31 at outfield. So I mean, he's got to be an outfielder.
Okay, the only pathway for him to do anything is to be an outfielder, considering who's standing in front of him. I think, honestly, I like Jordan Walker a lot. I like his bat a lot, but he's going to need to show up initially defensively. He's got to show them that he deserves to be there, be playing over whatever their other guys are there in the outfield. I'm not entirely sure. I know, obviously, you got Tyler O'Neill, a few other dudes, but he's got to show up defensively. If he can do that in the first month and own the starting role, then I might go Jordan Walker. But I think I am going to side with Adam on this one a little bit more. Corbin Carroll still feels like the favorite. He's locked in as the starter there no matter what.
And he's going to be like the dominant force.
He's the guy.
He's the guy. Right?
You're 100%. I mean, Corbin Carroll is guaranteed a start 6 out of 7 games. And Jordan Walker may spend the first couple of weeks working his way into a regular I'm in the lineup every day situation. Cardinals, to make room for Jordan Walker, they sent Juan Yepez down to the minors to start the season because Juan Yepez was sort of taking up that DH spot. Remember, the Cardinals last year called up Nolan Gorman, and they're trying to find a spot for Nolan Gorman to play.
Yeah.
You're going to have Jordan Walker finding time. I think you'll see with Dylan Carlson, Jordan Walker, Tyler O'Neill, Nolan Gorman, and Lars Nootbaar, those 5 guys for 4 spots will probably there'll be a little bit of a rotation there. I still think Jordan Walker is going to play enough to show that he should be there every day. Remember, last year, Michael Harris won the National League Rookie of the Year over Spencer Strider, even though Spencer Strider was with the big league club longer than Michael Harris was. So I think that even though at the beginning, the playing time may lean Corbin Carroll, I think Jordan Walker might be able to make up for that. It's going to be a fascinating race. There are some people in my chat that have brought up Kodai Senga as well. Don't mean to overlook him, but I do think if we have 2 bats going off, it's going to favor the bat over the arm.
I've noticed that too. Yeah. I've definitely noticed that too, especially with Rookie of the Year for some reason. They really favor the bat.
It's the same with the MVP. You know?
Yeah, I kind of disagree with that, to be honest. Like, I mean, like, what Spencer Strider did last year was absolutely ridiculous.
Phenomenal.
Ridiculous.
He was my pick. I would have taken Spencer Strider. He was my pick for NL Rookie of the Year. But I'm going to go. So I will go Jordan Walker because I am that enamored by what I think he could do. I think he's in a great lineup. You're going to have to pitch to him. He's also going to come up with opportunities to drive runs in. So counting stats should look good. I think all of the advanced metric stats, the WOBA, the WRC plus, that's going to look good. And I think I think everyone's going to fall in love with him. Let's get to the next question. That question being, this is number 5. Can anyone dethrone the Houston Astros? Nick and
I would like to go first here, everybody. Before I even really give my, full opinion on this, I really hope so. I really hope so. And this is not a shot at Astros fans, even in the slightest, man. I respect what your team has done. Obviously you came from a dark place in the cheating scandal. You came from that place and you got out of it. You're still the best. You are still the best. So I respect you. But man, I'm fatigued. I'm just fatigued of watching the same movie over and over and over and over again. And yes, I'm a Blue Jays fan. And in my perfect scenario, the Toronto Blue Jays dethrone the Houston Astros. And we are the team to go on and face the San Diego Padres or the Dodgers or the Mets in the World Series. That's what happens. But honestly, if it had to be someone else, I'd prefer that. If it had to be the Mariners, I'd prefer that. If it had to be the Guardians, I'd prefer that too, just for the sake of variety.
Right.
Go ahead, guys.
I hear all your hope. I hear your hope, Nick. Yeah. But I think it's going to be another year of Astros dominant baseball. The only way it isn't is if there's a ton of injuries. That's it, man. Like, if they're just unhealthy and there's a couple underperformances, maybe Abreu doesn't really work out for some whatever reason. Right. He's shook here in Houston. Altuve doesn't come back from his injury fully healthy. Bregman has a okay year. There's things that could happen that could derail it, but 80-90% of the time, they're going to be just fine. They're going to find the guys to do the job via trade in their organization on their current roster. The pitching's dominant. They're going to do it. Like, I tried him at my quick while you were talking there, Nick, like, look at I'm like, Mariners? No, like, they're going to win the division. The only teams that could actually maybe rival with the upside would be like Yankees, Blue Jays, and then Mariners. But I just don't think that our upside is like they're regular, So I gotta go leaning back to the Houston Astros. They're gonna take it again, guys.
I did my predictions, my official final stamp, no changes unless there is just a complete injury assault on the roster. I'm not changing any of my predictions moving forward. Where I have, not to spoil my video, go check out my video once we're done. You can hear more of my explanation why, and you can hear the other side of things, the National League side of things. But I have the Blue Jays and Astros in the ALCS this year. And I have the Astros getting through, but I have the Astros losing in the World Series. I think there is a team that has enough goodwill with the baseball gods, enough talent in that lineup, some good pitching that I think maybe people have forgotten about. And if a trade needs to happen to get that pitching to another level, I think this team can do it because they have the depth. I think the Cardinals could do it. I think the Cardinals could do it for what I just said about Jordan Walker, Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt. They're 2 top 10 players in all of baseball, and they're in that lineup. And a lot of what they do matches up very well for how the Astros pitch. One of the reasons why the Astros are tearing through is they end up finding their matchups with other teams that strike out a ton. They're tearing through the Yankees because the Yankees swing and miss more than a 40-year-old on Bumble. I used that on my video as well. So you have all of these reasons why they just keep on getting through. They're really good. I'm not trying to take anything away from the Astros, but I think the Cardinals are one of a handful of teams that if they meet each other at the end of the season and they're the last 2 teams standing, I think the Cardinals could do it. So that is my pick. And if you want the full rundown on my predictions for 2023, make sure you check out my predictions video once we're done.
You definitely got to check that out because I too want to hear how the Blue Jays made it to the ALCS to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. I mean, I've got a whole playoff bracket.
Go check that out, everybody. But, I don't want to derail this entire conversation, but I too am very high on the Cardinals this year. Mm-hmm. I'm drinking a little bit of that secret sauce. Like I look at that team. I look at what they've created. I look at the veteran experience that is there plus the youth. Mm-hmm. I think that they're going to surprise a lot of people.
I think if they need to make a move at the deadline to add like one big arm because I think that's what's missing. They have good depth. But
they have the pieces to do it. They have Alec Burleson. Right now, it doesn't even look like he's got a spot. I mean, he's breaking camp with the Cardinals, but he doesn't have a spot. But he's a prospect that has value and could be spun for a pitcher. There is definitely, as we get through the season, we'll hear arms that are going to be available. The Cardinals could definitely Jack Flaherty. Remember how good Jack Flaherty can be?
I just drafted him, Jim. I just drafted him in fantasy, man.
There
I'm hoping for the upside.
So Flaherty, Michaelis, Wainwright. I like what they've got there. And again, we've got who I'm forgetting somebody.
Montgomery?
Montgomery. Yes. So you've got 4 solid pitchers right there. And again, if you need to spin one of those prospects, if you need to spin Nolan Gorman for a top tier pitcher that maybe you have some more, it's not just a 1-year rental. You have him for another year too. You got some extra years of control. The Cardinals are able to do it because they've got the prospect.
Ohtani.
They really feel to me like a more experienced Toronto Blue Jays.
I agree.
Yeah, like a more 5 Toronto Blue Jays in 5 years. If the team's exactly the same, nothing else changes.
Yeah,
we might be that.
I agree with you. Okay. We have one final question, 6th and last one up. Do the Oakland Athletics finally announce a move to Vegas this year? I'll go first and I'll let you guys chime in. I am going to say, God, this is a tough one because there's going to be, I think if the MLB does expand, the 2 markets are Vegas and Nashville. Mm-hmm. And if MLB wants to create a new franchise, 2, you have to create 2. You can't just create 1.
Yeah.
You can't have Oakland move to Vegas because then where are you going to put the other franchise is going to be the question. You can't put a team back in Oakland if
Montreal
just failed and they left. Maybe you go to Canada. Yes. I think that there has got to be something there. I will say no because I think there will be pressure from the other owners, from Rob Manfred, from MLB, to pump the brakes on that. But I'm not standing on solid ground with this one. I'm going no, based on a bunch of, just things that may be going on, but may also not be going on behind the scenes. You guys?
For me, maybe not this season, but if this season looks bad, viewership down, stadium attendance way down, like this is looking like the pit of the pit. It could be this offseason. It could be next year during the regular season. Because guess what? Like, and that's what I learned just in life. You got to follow the money. Where is the money right now? It's not in Oakland. Okay. Yeah. MLB executives, Rob Manfred, owners will go, well, we're losing. We're not losing. We're not making enough here. Well, guess where all the money is? All the money's in Vegas. They got a football team, a few years ago. If they go get a baseball team, they've got the people coming in and out of Vegas from all the tourism. They've got the excitement there in Las Vegas. Like, there's lots of money to be had. And, the Vegas Golden Knights, even like 5, 6, 7 years ago, however long ago that was, they've got teams and they've got excitement in the city. I think regardless of how we feel about the Oakland Athletics, I don't want them to leave. They're a historic franchise to me growing up. I love them. The whole Moneyball, I love it. But if they got to go, there's no money. And that's the end of the day.
It's inevitable, man. It's going to happen. I don't know if this is the year, but it is going to happen. So, I mean, like, I just hope for the best. And I'm excited, too, for the new team that will, if another team comes in, like, that'd be great, too.
Maybe they'll spend some money.
Maybe they'll
spend some money.
William Fulgham in my chat. I trust him. He says Oakland was the 5th most profitable team last year after the revenue sharing. So maybe the owner's like, hey, you know what?
Okay.
Maybe I'll hang out for a little bit.
I didn't know that.
Pop off Oakland Kings, like that's, you keep going, guys.
Right on. Those are our 6 key questions. We know there are more. There's probably about 100, but those are 6 of the more pressing questions as we head into the 2023 season. Boys, any final words before we wind this one down?
There is no better place to get your MLB opinions and news and watch-alongs and live streams and power rankings and goddamn it, you name it, than at these 2 channels right here. So if you haven't already, absolutely hit the like and subscribe button on both BALLCAP Sports and Blue Jays today. I'm feeling like this year is gonna be a special year, guys. I have that feeling right now, and you guys want to be here for it. I promise you. There's gonna be a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline from both of our content streams, guys. So that is the only thing I have to say. I'm really excited to get on this journey, and I want it to be with y'all.
Let's do it, guys. I'm ready. Let's go.
This is gonna be a fun ride, and we can give us sort of let you guys know that we talked last week. We are going to continue doing the show through 100%. The season. We are still finalizing how the days might work, how the times might work because of the schedule. Maybe there will be times where our Tuesday night stream becomes a Wednesday night stream because that works better with the baseball schedule. But we will figure all of that out, and we will certainly let you guys know. You'll know when the links post. We'll tell you guys in the community page, all of that, but we are going to continue with this thing. And that is just going to make this season even more special for those of you, especially those of you that have made this a regular stop on your Tuesday evenings. We do appreciate that, all of you. Thank you for doing that through this offseason. But that's it. Next time we talk to you, season will be in full swing, and we'll have actual play on the field. What's going on around baseball to talk about, and I'm excited about that.
Me too.
Thank you guys again for coming in and spending some time with the channel. Boys, thank you for, again, your time as we hang out here on a Tuesday evening. We will catch, before I leave, hit that like on the way out, subscribe if you haven't, turn those alerts on, and now we will bid you adieu. Thank you for coming in, everybody, and we'll catch you guys next week.